Hello guys, welcome back to our anime moments. Guys, please like the video and subscribe to my channel. Today is explanation of upcoming episode of Soul Land 2 based on novel. So let's start. In the meantime, everyone from Shrek Academy wanted to help, but all the soul skills they used slid off the blood red light the moment they touched it. They didn't have any effect at all. Everyone knew that an ultimate Dolor was the highest level that one could reach. However, one could only see how strong an ultimate Dolor was when truly facing one. 12-titled Dolor actually couldn't stop the mysterious lady from grabbing Hui Yuhao. She still managed to bring him to her. However, Hui Yuhao was very smart. He knew that he had no way of resisting her, thus he didn't even try at all. He let the mysterious lady grab him. It was not to say that the soul power of an ultimate Dolor was comparable to 12-titled Dolor. That was impossible. After all, these 12-titled Dolor included 2 transcendent Dolor. In terms of total soul power, they were naturally above her. However, these 12-titled Dolor would be completely inconfident if they really had to fight her. Just now, she didn't even clash with any of them and only used her strength to easily dispose of their attacks. The Shattered Star Dolor had it the worst. He was the most adept at controlling space, but he knew that the power that this lady had just unleashed wasn't just some kind of power that evil soul masters possessed. Instead, she exhibited exquisite control of time and space. His own control was actually beneath hers. She was too terrifying. Tell me. How do you know my surname is Yi? There aren't many people in this world that know who I am. The mysterious lady said coldly. Hui Yuhao was drifting in front of her right now. Everyone knew that Hui Yuhao was doomed if she decided to lay her hands on him. However, he actually laughed at this moment. His smile was even very calm. His gentle grin showed that he wasn't agitated at all. Senior Yi, I'm not wrong, your name should be Yi Shishui. Hui Yuhao's words had her full attention. Who exactly are you? How did you know that? The mysterious lady tightened her grip. Suddenly, the blood-red light that was tightly grabbing onto Hui Yuhao also pushed inward. Hui Yuhao's bones started to make cracking sounds. Hui Yuhao furrowed his brow, but he didn't groan at all. He calmly said, "My name is Hui Yuhao. My teacher is Mu Yen." Mu Yen? The dragon god Dolor, Mu Yen? Everyone from the Star Luo Empire was shocked when they heard this name. It was the last master of the Sea God's Pavilion, the ultimate Dolor and Dragon Dolor, Mu Yen. He was one of the twin holy dragons of Black and White, a truly powerful individual on the continent. After hearing Mu Yen's name, they were at first astonished before they were in awe. Mu Yen had once made an important contribution to the peace of the continent and protected Shrek Academy all the way until his death. He was indeed one of the most notable honorary elders of the world of Soul Masters. When the mysterious lady heard his name, it was as if she had been struck by lightning. She shuddered a little, and the red light dissipated, causing Hui Yuhao to fall to the ground. You are his disciple? But how did you recognize me? Even he wouldn't recognize me if he stood in front of me. Moreover, he's already dead. He's already dead. She was almost shouting the last few words, sounding a little hysterical. However, her words had undoubtedly verified her own identity. She was Yi Shishui, the woman once pursued by the twin holy dragons of Black and White. She had once had a sentimental relationship with Mu Yen, which eventually ended tragically. The love and enmity they shared were never forgotten by Mu Yen even when he was on his deathbed. It was the biggest regret of his entire life. Hui Yuhao stood up and said, "Senior Yi, of course I don't recognize you. I definitely haven't seen you before. The only reason why I can guess your identity is because of your cultivation. How many people in this world are capable of becoming an ultimate Dolor? Even Elder Xian and Dubuzi are still one step away. Only my teacher and the Dragon Emperor Dolor Long Xiaoyao are ultimate Dolor. Since you are an ultimate Dolor and your aura and cultivation seem to be superior to my teacher, this limits the range of people that I can guess from. When you mentioned that you were an evil soul master, and recalling that Elder Long Xiaoyao is from the Holy Ghost Church, I immediately knew who you were. I'm afraid you're the only one who can convince Elder Long Xiaoyao to serve the Holy Ghost Church. It's only you who can become an ultimate Doluo even though you're an evil soul master, since you're from the same generation from my teacher and Elder Long Xiaoyao. It's just that I didn't expect you to be the death god Doluo of the Sun Moon Empire. His analysis caused all the title Doluo from the Star Luo Empire to turn dismal. Someone who was from Mu Yen and Long Xiaoyao's generation and became an ultimate Doluo as an evil soul master was a character that they couldn't possibly resist. No wonder she wasn't afraid of the 12 of them coming together. She wanted to take all of them down. Yi Shishui quickly turned emotional, but she calmed down very quickly too. Little fellow, you are clever. No wonder you've already achieved so much at such a tender age. You actually Mu Yen's disciple? Good, very good. Although I hate him a lot, I love him a lot too. On his account, I'll let you off today. I won't kill you. However, don't let me see you again. I'm feeling good today. I'm only thinking of all his good qualities. If you let me see you again and I only think of his flaws, you'll be dead. Thank you, Elder, for sparing me. Hui Yuhao slightly bowed towards Yi Shishui. After that, he turned around and walked towards the Star Luo Empire. At this moment, a blood-red claw suddenly appeared behind Hui Yuhao and grabbed his neck. Hui Yuhao suddenly felt a strong sense of breathlessness and his soul power started to surge ferociously. He tried to resist, and his diamond ice crystals immediately surfaced. Everyone from Shrek Academy was shocked. Tang Wutong shouted, "Didn't you say you wouldn't kill him?" He. Yi Shishui suddenly chuckled, and her laughter was very sinister. Yes. I didn't want to kill him just now, but I suddenly thought of how Mu Yen ended our relationship. I detest him. Since his disciple is here to find me, why shouldn't I kill him? Mu Yen is already dead. I wonder what his reaction will be when he finds out that I killed his disciple. Little fellow, you can only blame yourself for choosing the wrong teacher. Ha 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 ha. As she spoke, the blood-red claws started to clench up, trying to squeeze Hui Yuhao to death. Mad. Everyone had the same thought in their mind. Yes. Yi Shishui was indeed mad. Her emotions fluctuated unstably, and she was capricious. She didn't have the demeanor of an elder at all. Yuhao? Everyone from Shrek Academy shouted at the same time. At this point, Hui Yuhao's body dimmed slightly, and he seemed to have turned into a ball of black air. Just as the claws clenched up, he disappeared before reappearing 10 meters away. He was back to his human form. It was just that he had completely changed after he reappeared. His hair had grown much longer, and it had turned completely black. His skin was extremely pale, and his eyes were colorless. They were actually engulfed by golden light. His eye of destiny shut and disappeared. A streak of golden hair fell to his chest, which was the only other color apart from black and white throughout his entire body. Not only this, but his aura experienced an even greater change. Although he was calmly standing where he was, he seemed like a giant beast. Intense, black light emanated from his body, and the surrounding blood-red light dissipated in the presence of this black glow, even though it wasn't very strong. Who are you? Yi Shishu looked coldly at Hui Yuhao. Given her power, how could she not tell that the person in front of her was no longer Hui Yuhao? Just from the terrifying aura, she had no choice but to calm herself down and face him. Yi Shishui? It's actually this name. Very good, I didn't expect a human to reach such a cultivation on the continent. Even I couldn't help but be interested in you. Although I'm not in my true form, I'll make you pay for the 9 soul rings you have. 300,000-year soul beasts and 6 10,000-year soul beasts. You're good. Hui Yuhao's voice had turned much deeper. As he spoke, the air would vibrate with every word he said. The blood-red light that was quickly gathering towards him rapidly dissipated. Everyone from the Star Luo Empire was dumbfounded as they watched from afar. Only an ultimate Doluo could fight another ultimate Doluo. Hui Yuhao could actually transform into an ultimate Doluo. Everything they were seeing was beyond their imagination. Was Hui Yuhao actually possessed by the dragon god Doluo Mu Yen? As Hui Yuhao spoke, he had already lifted up his right hand and mimicked a grabbing action towards Yi Shishui. At the same time, the highest mountain peak of the Mingdo mountain range started to resonate with dragon roars. In the sky, dark clouds started to gather. The space in front of Yi Shishui shattered, and a huge black dragon claw appeared in front of her, reaching for her. Yi Shishui was also very impressive. She clasped her hands in front of her before a giant blood-red projection appeared. This projection was in human form, but it had 12 blood-red wings. As they flapped at the same time, her right hand performed a downward swiping action. Suddenly, a streak of blood appeared in front of her and blocked the black claws. Clang! The mountain peak shook, and terrifying air currents spread towards the outside, with the core of it being the point of collision. Black and blood-red light surged at the same time and spread out. The soul tools that were originally scattered everywhere were all dragged into the air. Just as the black and red clashed, the 12-titled Luo staggered a few steps back. The shattered Star Luo did his best to protect everyone from Shrek Academy from this explosive burst of strength. Let's retreat a little further first. The shattered Star Luo shouted. He immediately unleashed his light of shattered stars, which engulfed everyone. After this, he proceeded to a point lower down the mountain with all of them. If they continued to remain here, they would very soon be killed by this clash between two ultimate Luo. The two of them were simply too strong. The shockwaves from their clash were already very terrifying. The black dragon claws were forced back, but they didn't sustain any harm. Bloody demon puppet. So that's your martial soul. It relies on devouring spirits to evolve. It seems like you haven't just harmed soul beasts, but also many humans. This so-called death god is simply a manifestation of your martial soul. How many avenging spirits do you kill every time you manifest it in this form? Every avenging spirit can only be collected after a live human being is killed. Even soul beasts can't be replenished. However, I don't care if you kill humans. But you've killed too many of my people. I'll use your life to avenge all of them. As he spoke, Hui Yuhao peered into the sky and let out a dragon roar. Following this, he lifted both his hands in the air, his palms facing upward. The space behind him tore apart, and a huge dragon head slowly poked out. Pitch-black dragon flames that carried spots of golden starlight were unleashed towards Yi Shishui. The surrounding space blew apart just as the dragon flames were unleashed. The blood-red light was torn apart, and the entire mountain started to distort. A terrifying force tore apart the spatial barriers and bore down on Yi Shishui as if it were a great river. The bloody demon puppet behind Yi Shishui shone brightly. Her own body also turned into a streak of red light that fused into the back of the bloody demon puppet as her seventh soul ring shone. The bloody demon puppet expanded as it moved through the air. Rings of red light forcefully resisted the onslaught of the dragon roars. Intense explosions started to ensue, and the entire mountain started to compress downward because of their terrifying strength. The Death God Pagoda finally moved. It was shaking slightly. Beast God, Di Qian. So it's you. Yi Shishui's sharp voice sounded. Evidently, she couldn't believe that the Beast God had actually appeared here and was helping the Star Luo Empire. The Beast God calmly said, "That's right, it's me. You can kill everyone else, but you can't kill this person I'm protecting. Moreover, what's the benefit of letting the Sun Moon Empire rule the entire continent?" Yi Shishui snorted coldly, "That's right. You're indeed very strong, and can curb my abilities. However, don't forget that you're not in your true form right now. If you possess this little fellow for too long, he might be unable to take it." It was a pity that all the titled Luo had already retreated. Otherwise, they would be shocked beyond words if they heard Yi Shishui admitting that she wasn't Di Qian's match. It was the truth. The last time Di Qian had commanded his Soul Beast army to attack Shrek City, Elder Mu and Elder Xian had banded together to overcome him. Elder Mu had even planned everything very early, which aided them in curbing Di Qian. Even so, Hui Yuhao was the one who convinced Di Qian in the end. Otherwise, Shrek City would have been destroyed. He had a cultivation that was greater than 800,000 years, and had broken through 8 bottlenecks. he was already 1 foot into another tier. Even Yi Shishui had to admit that he was terrifyingly strong. How do you know that I can't summon my true form? How is it possible for a mere human like you to comprehend things at my level? As he spoke, Hui Yuhao pointed his right hand towards the sky and his left hand towards the ground. A pitch-black beam of light quickly joined between his left and right index fingers. Black light tore space apart, and a figure slowly walked out from the slit that opened. Suddenly, the black dragon head behind Hui Yuhao turned real, and the strength of the dragon flames increased significantly. You can actually break apart space and teleport your true body? This is impossible, Yi Shishui exclaimed, but she stopped resisting. Instead, she turned into a beam of red light and instantly charged towards the Death God Pagoda. The Death God Pagoda shone extremely brightly. Countless avenging spirits could be heard whining. A beam of red light that Hui Yuhao had seen before descended from the sky. It was the avenging light of the Death God, a watered-down version of the light of the Death God. It clashed ferociously with the dragon flames that were in pursuit of Yi Shishui. It wasn't that Yi Shishui wasn't willing to fully unleash her light of the Death God. It was just that she needed some time to accumulate her strength before she could unleash the complete version of her light of the Death God. The last time she did so, she went through prior planning first. This avenging light of the Death God was unleashed through some kind of special method after greatly compressing avenging spirits. It was very powerful, but it used up thousands of avenging spirits every time it was unleashed. There weren't just 100,000 avenging spirits that were gathered within this Death God Pagoda. However, they were very limited. Every time it was unleashed, they had to be replenished. What Hui Yuhao didn't know was that there were many avenging spirits in this Death God Pagoda that were collected by Yi Shishui after he initiated the massive explosion in Radiant City. This also aided in the completion of the Death God Pagoda, allowing it to cross the barrier that made it a Class 10 soul tool. In this world, there wasn't just a single genius. Hui Yuhao was one, but Yi Shishui was also another one. She had started to research soul tools in the Sun Moon Empire after her disappointing relationship with Mu En. After years of research, she gradually fused her evil soul master abilities and soul tools, creating a unique soul tool that belonged only to her. With her immense power as a foundation and the Holy Ghost Church as a backer, she finally became the strongest soul engineer in the Sun Moon Empire and the Death God Luo. At the same time, she was also the supreme leader of the Holy Ghost Church. After Xu Qianran ascended to the throne, he even accepted her as his godmother. The current leader of the Holy Ghost Church, Zhong Liwu, was Yi Shishui's son. It could be argued that she was actually the most powerful person in the Sun Moon Empire. A huge explosive force was released as the black dragon flames and the avenging light of the Death God clashed. The entire mountain was flattened. The Death God Pagoda actually rose into the air and turned into a beam of red light that shot forward in the direction of the Sun Moon Empire. At the same time, a beam of blood-red light shot into the sky and turned into a weird image. From afar, the formation of soul tools that the Sun Moon Empire had deployed started to reverberate with booms. The title Doluo from the Star Luo Empire had already achieved what they wanted. Following this, beams of golden light rose into the sky. It was the signal for the army to come. Hui Yuhao silently drifted above the mountain and watched as the Death God Pagoda escaped. He didn't pursue. The Beast God was drifting beside him. He furrowed his brow as he looked at Hui Yuhao. Di Qian was a little displeased as he said, "You actually riled up such a strong enemy. If I didn't appear in my true form, I don't think she would have left." Hui Yuhao seemed to have returned to normal and calmly said, "You've already cost me 2 opportunities to advance to the future. Don't you think you should help me at such a critical moment? Moreover, from the perspective of the world of soul beasts, it's not advantageous if the human world is ruled by the Sun Moon Empire. When that happens, all of you will only become experimental subjects of the Sun Moon Empire. Once they find substitutes for soul rings that can replace soul beasts, it'll be the day that soul beasts vanish from the face of this world. This is why peace and balance between the various empires should be something that you want to see, am I right? Now that the Sun Moon Empire is so strong and the Heavenly Soul Empire is on the verge of destruction, the Sun Moon Empire would be very likely to rule the entire continent if we don't deal them a huge blow right now. After pondering for a moment, Di Qian said, however, you can't face too strong of an opponent. If not for the fact that I had some kind of understanding of her the first time you suffered the attack of the avenging light of the death god and intentionally dealt with her strategy, she wouldn't have been scared off. She's right. I can't possibly descend in my true form. I believe that she'll realize that she's been scared off by me after she returns and calms down. This woman is very strong. If not for the fact that she detached herself from the Death God Pagoda, I wouldn't have been confident of fighting her even with my true form if she relied on her Death God Pagoda to fight me. After hearing his words, Hui Yuhao was slightly stunned. Even the arrogant Di Qian was not confident of defeating Yi Shishui. How strong was she? With someone as strong as her, the Star Luo Empire would be unlikely to gain an advantage even if the Star Luo Empire faced her with a 100,000-man army. This time, you've lent me too much of your strength. Your body is already on the verge of collapse. Fortunately, there's a very strong life energy in your body which seems to come from the same source as the Lake of Life. This life energy has been helping you to recover quickly. However, don't face her again. Otherwise, I wouldn't even be confident of saving you. You only have one life. Your life might be important to us, but isn't it important to you too? Take precious care of your life and get as far away from the Death God as possible. The Beast God was very composed. He didn't react to Hui Yuhao's earlier reprimand. After he finished speaking, dim black light slowly turned into air currents, and he disappeared. Black air also engulfed Hui Yuhao and carried him to the top of the mountain. Slowly, the black disappeared, and Hui Yuhao looked very pale. Fresh blood flowed from all his pores. He only felt excruciating pain throughout his entire body before he lost consciousness. When the Star Luo Empire's title Doluo came to the top of the mountain, they only witnessed an astonishing scene. The height of the highest mountain peak in the Mingdou mountain range must have had fallen by at least 100 meters. There was a huge depression at the top of the mountain, and this depression was filled with smaller craters. Even though the clash was already over, the entire mountain was still engulfed by strong soul power undulations. Occasionally, the cries of avenging spirits could be heard as well. Yuhao? Xu Sanxia immediately spotted Hui Yuhao lying in the center of the huge depression, and rushed towards him. Everyone from Shrek Academy did the same. The earlier clash at the top of this mountain was too intense. They had no idea what had happened, but the Death God Pagoda had vanished at this moment. The Death God Doluo had also disappeared, and only Hui Yuhao remained. After the flashes of red light earlier, the soul engineers of the Sun Moon Empire quickly fled after being momentarily shocked. They left with whatever soul tools they could bring with them. Although more than 10 titled Doluo from the Star Luo Empire were here, their advantage in numbers didn't give them an advantage. A combined attack from many soul tools would still threaten them greatly. Seeing that their enemies had fled, they naturally didn't pursue them. Victory? If they had really achieved victory, it was a victory that belonged to the 20 of them. And amongst them, Hui Yuhao had played the most critical role. When all the titled Doluo witnessed the Death God Doluo's immense abilities, they were all shocked. They clearly knew that they couldn't overcome such a powerful enemy even with their numerical advantage. Moreover, Yi Shishui had the Death God Pagoda to rely on. If they continued fighting, they would have all been decimated. However, it was at that moment when Hui Yuhao's unexplained power managed to resist the Death God Doluo. They didn't witness the fighting process, but the final result did sort of indicate that Hui Yuhao hadn't lost. The Death God Doluo and Death God Pagoda had disappeared, and the Sun Moon Empire's soul engineers had retreated too. This meant that the Mingdou mountain range had been won back. To the Star Luo Empire, this was extremely important. With the Mingdou mountain range falling back into the hands of the Star Luo Empire, the Sun Moon Empire would find it very difficult to reclaim it again and re-invade the Star Luo Empire. Furthermore, the Sun Moon Empire lacked leadership right now. Now that the Star Luo Empire had overcome their first defensive line, it was time for them to make further headway. All the titled Doluo were excited right now, but everyone from Shrek Academy looked very serious. When they surrounded Hui Yuhao, they only saw how blood-soaked his clothes were. Blood was oozing from all his pores, and his aura had become very weak. They couldn't even sense any soul power undulations from him. Xu Sanxia looked very serious and squatted down beside Hui Yuhao. He carefully placed his hand on his chest to sense Hui Yuhao's condition. After a brief moment, he furrowed his brow and stood up. "How is he, third senior?" Yi Dai asked anxiously. Tears were already forming in her eyes. Even though she had already suppressed her feelings for Hui Yuhao, she still felt that she was about to experience an emotional outburst upon seeing that he was seriously wounded and on the verge of death. Xu Sanxia solemnly replied, "Not good. Little Junior's life aura is very weak and his heartbeat is so slow it's almost undetectable. He might die at any moment. Yuhao, wake up." Yuhao, Yi Gai squatted down beside Hui Yuhao and started sobbing as she pleaded for him to regain consciousness. Ji Juechen also furrowed his brow. "Is there no other way?" Xu Sanxia shook his head and said, "I did a preliminary check on his condition, and it seems like all his passageways have been broken. They even seem to be seriously damaged. I don't even dare to touch him right now." Jing Ziyan was the calmest among all of them. She immediately turned around and faced all the titled Duluos, asking, "Elders, which one of you is adept at healing? Please take a look at Yuhao. He's in very bad condition." At this moment, all of the titled Doluo were jolted from their excitement and quickly surrounded Hui Yuhao. However, all of these titled Doluo that were chosen for this mission were adept at attacking. None of them was adept at healing. After checking Hui Yuhao's condition, all of them came to the same conclusion as Xu Sanxia. Hui Yuhao was in very bad condition. All his passageways were seriously injured. If it was someone else with such serious injuries, he would have died. However, there was some kind of special force in his body that was helping him hang on. The circulation of his blood seemed to have stopped completely, apart from a small region around his heart. As for his soul power, it had long disappeared. At this moment, all the titled Doluo were helpless. The shattered star Doluo said, "Yuhao's injury is very serious. Let's not touch him for now. Let's go and rendezvous with the army first. Giant Hammer, make a trip back and immediately ask the marshal to send a healing-type soul master over. I'll stand guard here." "All right." The Giant Hammer Doluo acknowledged his words and turned around before flying away. Hui Yuhao had made an important contribution this time by helping to reclaim the Mingdo mountain range. Even these arrogant titled Doluo were in awe of him. They were also very shocked by the secret force in him that was keeping him alive. Even without saying anything, they knew that he had borrowed some kind of strength that didn't belong to him to fight the death god Doluo, scaring her away. His body was seriously wounded because he couldn't handle such great power in his body. All of the titled Doluo thought that it was no mean feat that Hui Yuhao could preserve his life. He was dealing with a powerful force that could resist an ultimate Doluo. Even titled Doluo like them weren't confident of remaining alive if they had to deal with such a powerful force. Tang Wutong also stood beside Hui Yuhao. She didn't wail as pitifully as Yi Gai. She only stood where she was, looking a little dazed. The scene of Hui Yuhao exchanging places with her when the light of death god descended on her earlier kept on repeating itself in her mind. She kept on asking herself this question: if it were me, would I be capable of doing the same thing? Hui Yuhao. Tang Wutong knew that this name had been permanently imprinted in her mind right now. The healing-type Soul Master team arrived at almost the same time as the Soul Master Legion that was here to reclaim the mountain range. Everyone was shocked that the White Tiger Duke had personally come, and even brought along a healing-type titled Doluo. There were also about 16 other healing-type Soul Masters with them. "Where's Yuhao?" The White Tiger Duke led this large group of healing-type Soul Masters as they descended from the sky. The first thing he asked when he landed was Hui Yuhao's location. The shattered star Doluo's expression changed when he saw that the White Tiger Duke was personally here. It was important to know that the White Tiger Duke was very crucial to the Star Luo Empire's military. If the death god Doluo returned, they would be unable to protect him at all. "Duke, you..." The White Tiger Duke lifted his hand and stopped the shattered Star Luo from speaking any further. Of course he understood what the shattered Star Luo meant. He said, "It's more important to save this life first. We can leave the rest for later." Xu Sanxia, Jiang Nan, and the rest quickly came up to receive him. The White Tiger Duke led the healing-type Soul Masters to Hui Yuhao under their guidance. The healing-type titled Doluo was an elder with white hair and a wrinkled face. It was impossible to tell her actual age. When she arrived in front of Hui Yuhao, she lifted her right hand and a streak of dim green light instantly turned into a barrier of light that engulfed him. "Duke, you must save Yuhao." Xu Sanxi's voice started to tremble slightly. "Don't worry, I'll try my best. Yuhao is a great servant to our empire," the White Tiger Duke said without any hesitation. Earlier, he could only see the explosions of light that had blossomed from the top of the mountain. When they first started, he started to tense up. Without a doubt, Hui Yuhao had already been discovered. Being discovered was an unavoidable consequence of the plan. The key lay in whether Hui Yuhao was able to free all the titled Doluo after being discovered. Therefore, the most important thing to take note of was the amount of time the explosions lasted for. Hui Yuhao didn't disappoint him. The lights didn't disappear, and even larger explosions ensued. At that point, the White Tiger Duke was already ready to command his entire military to fight. After that, the White Tiger Duke saw terrifying red light flashing at the top of the mountain. The black light that Hui Yuhao had released wasn't very clear against the night sky. However, the White Tiger Duke was astonished when he saw that the mountain had collapsed slightly. Hui Yuhao had succeeded. Even without any signal, the White Tiger Duke had already given the order to attack. The giant hammer Doluo returned not long after that, and relayed news that Hui Yuhao had been seriously wounded. For some unknown reason, the White Tiger Duke felt his heart constricting after learning that Hui Yuhao had been seriously hurt. He ignored Princess Jiujiu's attempt to stop him and personally led a team of healing-type Soul Masters to save him. He only had one thought in his mind: save Hui Yuhao at all costs. Such a talent was simply too important to the Star Luo Empire. Besides his desire to save a generational talent, the White Tiger Duke didn't realize that deep down in his heart, there was some kind of unexplained attachment that was growing. Even he himself wasn't clear what it was. His concern for Hui Yuhao had already surpassed the sort of brotherly love he had for his own subordinates. Yi Gai clenched her fists tightly and prayed to herself. Nan Chuchio also clasped her hands together in front of her chest, and was reciting something to herself. The White Tiger Duke softly said, "Yuhao will be fine. Don't worry. This person performing the healing on Yuhao is the Hallmaster of the Star Luo Empire's Imperial Shrine. She's a titled Doluo. As long as someone is still breathing, she can save him. Perhaps all of you have heard of her before. Her name is Wang Xiana." Part 1 end here.